TikTok is leading the charge in social commerce, making it easier for users to buy directly from creators they trust. Their ability to seamlessly integrate shopping with authentic, engaging content is transforming how brands and customers interact. But it's not just about being on TikTok. It's about understanding the platform, building awareness, and creating content that resonates with your audience. The brands that succeed are the ones willing to invest in the long game, developing trust, leveraging data, and staying agile to adapt to TikTok's rapid evolution. That's a quote and sneak peek from Vinod Varma, CEO and co-founder of Creator Co. Welcome to Revenue Boost, a marketing podcast, the most valuable podcast for business leaders who need a boost in revenue and business growth. I'm your host, Carrie Curran. With over 20 years of marketing agency experience driving client business growth, I now run RBMA Revenue-Based Marketing Advisors, where we help businesses like yours effectively scale revenue growth. Visit revenuebasedmarketing.com or connect with me on LinkedIn today. Influencer and creator marketing has been evolving at a rapid pace. Personally, I've been buying promoted products from people on social media for years. But TikTok Shop has rapidly changed that game for creators and brands alike. Today, it's part social influencer, promotional video strategy, and e-commerce platform. TikTok is building the plane as it's taking off and leading an entire industry revolution while they're at it. In this episode, titled The Social Commerce Revolution, Building Revenue with Influencers and TikTok Shop, I dive deep into the exciting world of social commerce with Vinod Varma, CEO and co-founder of Creator Co. We discuss how platforms like TikTok Shop are reshaping the way consumers discover and purchase products, and how brands can leverage the power of influencers to drive meaningful revenue growth. Vinod shares his insider insights on building effective influencer campaigns, the importance of fostering authentic ambassador relationships, and why creating top-of-funnel awareness is critical for success. You'll also hear his take on the latest trends in social commerce, including AI's impact on marketing efficiency, TikTok's growing dominance, and the game-changing potential of live stream shopping. Whether you're a business leader looking to unlock new revenue streams or a marketer eager to stay ahead of the curve, this episode is packed with actionable strategies to help you thrive in the ever-evolving world of social commerce. Let's go. So welcome, Vinod. Please introduce yourself and tell us a bit about your background and expertise.
Hey, Carrie. My name is Vinod. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Creator.co. We're an influencer platform focused on social commerce. My background has been in sales and marketing, and particularly go-to-market strategies for some really cool brands like Fitbit, Samsung, Sony, Garmin, etc. Played a hand in launching wearables in Canada, and we used thousands of influencers through that campaign and through launching those brands nationally. And Creator is really the genesis of a lot of the learnings that we had from those successful launches. And today, Creator helps hundreds of brands and hundreds of thousands of influencers connect, collaborate, and drive more revenue.
Excellent. Well, thank you. So, you're on the you have a front row seat, I should say, to the evolution of influencer and creator marketing. So, what do you see as the hottest trends these days?
Today, of course, the obvious in AI and everything it's touching, but I think beyond that, social commerce is really coming to the forefront here. More and more people are okay with buying through social media, buying from creators they love and follow, and we are seeing that come to life through different tailwinds in the market at large. And so I think, yeah, social commerce is the big one that we're really excited about.
Excellent. And so of the social commerce trends, it sounds like TikTok is taking off more than the other platforms. Like, what are you seeing there?
TikTok is definitely leading the charge when it comes to social commerce in North America, I would say. And I think they've just done a good job in executing the product and making it easy for users of TikTok to buy from creators.
Hmm.
And at the same time, I don't think Instagram, Snapchat, X, Pinterest are far behind. I think Twitch is also a sleeper right now. To us, the evolution makes sense. We are totally channel agnostic, and we think that people are going to the trend will move towards people buying from creators regardless of what that channel is.
Yeah, no, that it makes a lot of sense because the benefits of creator and influencer, the trust with the audience and the feeling like that influencer is your friend maybe and you want their recommendations. I mean, not speaking for myself necessarily, but no, I've definitely purchased a lot from different influencers and creators. You get excited about it. I mean, and my daughter wants everything she sees on YouTube. So it makes it a lot of sense when you think about just the psychology behind marketing and how people buy from people they trust or they, recommendations from people they know is one of the top referrals for a brand. So it's definitely makes sense from that perspective. So I know it's not as easy as it looks to get started. So, talk us through kind of when your brands, your clients contact you and start working with you. What are the phases or important things they need to think about before just flipping the switch on TikTok Shop, for example?
Yeah, I mean, great question. I think for TikTok Shop in particular, if they're already set up on TikTok Shop, that makes it really easy to work with a platform like Creator. If they're not set up on TikTok Shop as an approved partner, we can accelerate that process.
Hmm.
But I will say for brands who are watching this that want to get there and then that are not, we feel your pain. We know it's not easy. It is not a very simple, frictionless process that you would
Hmm.
think of when you look at a large billion-dollar company. It is very much startup vibes when it comes to TikTok
Hmm.
Shop. I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. It makes them super agile and able to react quickly to what they're seeing from their customers. But it also the downside is it makes it a little bit more frustrating for new brands who want to get set up. So give yourself a month plus to get set up properly. If you're already set up, the way we typically like to work with our clients is in strategic phases. So, first, understanding what the North Star is and what they're looking to accomplish, whether it be more top of funnel, bottom of funnel activity. Um, and then we'll start to um, work in kind of sprints and batches of different influencers. And what we try to do is try to evaluate the first bit of content that comes out from an influencer. And the ones who perform really, really well will position the an ambassadorship as kind of a step up program, something that's a little bit
Hmm.
more prestigious that they are invited into, not necessarily just accepted into. And we use the first post and the first bit of content to gauge their eligibility to get into that program and what we set the threshold at.
Hmm.
And we use kind of our almost a gifted or maybe a smaller upfront payment to fill the funnel, top of funnel. When I'm talking about the funnel, I mean the funnel of influencers that we're going to strategically use throughout the campaign, and then the ones who create really good, engaging content. Those are the ones that we invite to become part of the ambassadorship, and those are the ones that we nurture on a regular basis. We are including them in product knowledge training. We're giving them all of the right features and benefit sheets to talk about. Um, Sometimes they're receiving quarterly gift baskets from the brand of new product launches or updates, and it makes them feel like they're really a part of the brand
Hmm.
versus a more transactional relationship, and that seems to help keep the brand's share of voice really high when it comes to
Yeah.
what they're talking about. And that's where we start seeing success, is kind of focusing on building these communities of ambassadors who are attached to these brands. Um, and that's where you'll see the long tail success come from.
Yeah, it's definitely, it sounds like a more strategic partnership, community building strategy. I know you mentioned, I want to go deeper a bit, where you talked about ensuring that you're building awareness before just going for driving sales. So, talk about kind of what you're seeing a bit more about making sure that you have brands have awareness and that it's not going to be just a cash cow to, just get into TikTok shop. Talk more about that upper funnel importance.
Yeah, and it's actually a TikTok report that I was reading a couple weeks ago on I think it was called the awareness advantage. And what it highlighted was the cost per conversion compared to a brand that is known or trusted with a
Mm-hmm.
particular audience and a brand
Mm-hmm.
that is not.
Right.
And it is almost a 3x difference in conversion when you already have awareness and trust established with a community
Mm-hmm.
versus not. And so I think understanding who your target audience is and if they're aware of you or not is really
Mm-hmm.
key when it comes to budgeting for your marketing campaign, because if you're focused on spending a budget that is really correlated with bottom of funnel activity, you
Mm-hmm.
might be, inflating your CPC, CPA significantly, because everyone is almost having to work backwards from your ad, and it's like, wait, who are you? And then they're going to your TikTok, they're going to your website, they're trying to do their own research, versus if they already know you and you're presenting them with an offer that's time bound.
Yeah, and it's so important because we're seeing that across, marketing strategy in general. I think so many brands were just, obsessed with performance marketing and needed to see that every dollar was actually immediately driving return. Where you're right, they have to. I always talk about this with my clients as well. They have to have heard of you, and then they have to like you. They have to believe that you can solve their challenge or problem, um, before they want to purchase. Now, there's, especially with direct to consumer brands, that can happen a lot more quickly, but it's definitely still important, as you pointed out, to invest in that kind of upper funnel awareness and that the demand generation initiatives, even if it can't be tied back immediately to conversion. To your point, you're kind of building um, that awareness and
Yeah,
that connection with the audiences.
yeah, you cannot skip the stages of a sales funnel unless you're like a sub $20 product, and
Right.
it's impulse purchases bode well for
Yeah.
you and the branding's done, then maybe you
Yeah.
get lucky. And I would
Hmm.
say that's more of a stroke of luck versus marketing strategy.
Yeah. Yeah. No, definitely. And so I know we talked about kind of the kind of rolling the influencer in onto the program. I loved the idea of the ambassador program to build that connection and relationship. One of the things we talked about too is, especially as social commerce is getting more important and evolving. Um, what are you seeing as far as kind of the follower volume versus just ability to kind of really connect and drive sales? What are you seeing today?
Yeah, it's an interesting discussion. I don't think we've seen a clear trend yet, and I think that with social commerce being less dependent on the influencer's following size, and maybe more dependent on their salesmanship,
Hmm.
that I think, and I'm speaking to this because we don't have enough data to solidify what the trend is, or at least the
Hmm.
correlation between following size and output in terms of GMV.
Hmm.
But what we're seeing in Asia, which is having a ton of success when it comes to social commerce, and everyone seems to be buying from their creators on social media or their influencers, is just this incredible amount of focus on production and salesmanship,
Hmm.
or
Hmm.
showmanship in live streaming and social commerce. And what we're seeing is that isn't necessarily dependent on their size, but more so the production itself, the words that they're using, their CTAs, the offers. So I think we're seeing we're moving towards a world where following size, although important maybe for an awareness play to get eyeballs
Hmm.
on it and impressions, for conversion, I think the playing field with social commerce is going to be a little bit leveled, and it will come down to showmanship, salesmanship, and being able to put on a good production that makes people want to buy, similar to the shopping channel.
This episode of Revenue Boost, a marketing podcast, is brought to you by Kriglu. Want to boost customer acquisition while saving time and money? Meet Kriglu, an AI powered omnichannel bid management platform designed to optimize your ad spend. Kriglu intelligently adjusts bids across channels, ensuring your ads reach the right audience at the lowest cost. Plus, with its automation, you'll free up valuable time to focus on your business. The result? Efficient, cost effective growth, all while maximizing your marketing budget. Ready to scale smarter and faster? Visit Kriglu.com, CRIGLOO.com, and start saving today. Yeah, no, it definitely makes sense. And I believe, as you said, that's definitely starting to pick up here a bit. And by holiday next year, will probably be in full force. So I know we talked a bit about TikTok Shop is the most dominant. I think you said it's about 90% of the market for North America, with Snapchat and Pinterest kind of picking up pace. But so let's dive in a bit more to the tactics behind getting set up on TikTok. So I know you said it can take a while, like a month to get it going as TikTok. It makes sense. As you said, startup mode. They're kind of building the plane as it's taking off and evolving quickly. But so just share a few like of the steps or things that brands need to know or plan for when getting set up on TikTok.
Yeah, the procurement process is not easy. You need to have all of your bank for any of our Canadian listeners or ours your Canadian listeners. You can't, so you do need to set up an IP that can ping from the US. You need to make sure you've got
Interesting.
a US bank account, US shipping address, and all of that stuff. So a only US, a lot easier for US brands, and still you need to have all of your banking info in order. All like it is, think about almost applying for a mortgage as your business. Like that is the amount
Wow.
of information they require. And the nice thing is when you typically apply for a mortgage, you've got a broker that's helping you along. And in this case, you might have an agency like Creator or
Hmm.
somebody else working on your behalf and helping you through the process. But the feedback coming back from TikTok's end is just a little sparse, we'll say. And so can make it difficult and often frustrating. But once you're set up, the user experience is pretty straightforward. Finding influencers who are engaged is fairly straightforward, although there are some issues right now on TikTok's um, interface or TikTok's search database where it's very difficult to get a hold of the creator. And that's probably more of a function of so many brands reaching out to these individuals that they can't respond. But it
Hmm.
is still it's still frustrating when the best creators on TikTok uh, don't have time to get back to you because as a brand, that's where you want to focus. So I think that'll twofold. I think as more creators get familiar with selling on TikTok, that imbalance will um, start to correct itself between supply and demand for the creators and the brands. Um, and as consumers shift um, the way they want to, like, I think what'll happen is um, different types of content styles will start to resonate with different consumers. And so I think that evolution has yet to take place. I think with AI and more creative we can get with it, we will see new types of videos that really capture users' attention. And so,
Hmm.
and I think that will breed a new type of creator, and that will, the innovation in the space will balance out the supply and demand, I think.
Definitely. And are there other kind of, so once you have your finances set up and approved with TikTok, matching with the creators, which I know you can help brands match with the creator before or outside of the TikTok
Yeah.
platform. Are there any other kind of steps or stages? Obviously, the content creation, but anything else that the brand needs to keep in mind?
Yeah, have a really tight product catalog that you want to make accessible. Make sure that the descriptions, the imagery, everything that you use is dialed in and ready to convert. I would say, make sure you focus on that optimization, or sorry, optimizing that conversion funnel
Hmm.
from your product catalog to their checkout system. Um, yeah, it's like setting up a whole new Shopify store,
Hmm.
but a couple. Uh, a little bit more difficult because it's something that you might not be used to some of the terminology that they use, um, or you might not find the answers are front and center when you have questions. And so working with an
Yeah.
agency can definitely help speed that along and help add some clarity to the process.
Yeah, that's definitely helpful. And any other last tips for brands that want to get started in TikTok?
Get ahead of it. I think,
Yeah.
20, 30 years ago, everyone was saying you need to be on social or you're going to miss the ball. And that turned out to be true. The brands that were on there early now have tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of followers.
Hmm.
The brands that are trying to get on now are struggling to get there in velocity. Um, and so I think, dipping your, it's not even about dipping your toes. I think they need to dive in. They need to, um, they need to budget for making mistakes and experimenting on it.
Yep.
And it's not just TikTok. I think what we're hearing is that Amazon is going to be unlocking their product catalog to Snapchat, to Pinterest, to Twitch.
Yep.
And I think that those are all really, really powerful conversion channels for brands
Hmm.
that are currently being not completely underutilized, or and they're about to blow up in a big way. And I think if you can get ahead of it and get used to the type of content that is found to be engaging on those channels, you will set yourself up for long tail success, because social commerce, I think, is going to be the way of the future, as people are no longer, the channel of where you buy from won't matter as much as who you buy it from.
Yeah, no, definitely. That it makes a ton of sense, and it's exciting to see the evolution and anticipate what it will be, especially when Amazon starts playing as well. One question I just thought of is when you're talking to brands or even larger media agencies, where does social commerce tend to sit? Is it sitting with a social media team? Is it sitting with an e-commerce team? Does it vary?
Great question. I would assume in the next 5 years there will just be a social commerce team,
Yeah.
and it will
Yep.
probably have different pillars that involve influencer and affiliate,
Hmm.
and probably e-commerce as well. Um, right now, we're seeing it lean towards honestly, it slots in between PR and influencer and affiliate, like that.
Yeah.
To
Yep.
us, like, PR kind of straddles the line. Like, that's where
Hmm.
most of traditional influencer marketing has
Yeah.
lived.
Yep.
Now we're seeing it come into more of a traditional marketing sense, and even further down the conversion funnel into an affiliate sense. Um, and so, yeah, most of the teams we speak to when it comes to social commerce, most brands and agencies are bringing in a few different POCs from those
Yeah.
teams, whether it's PR, or they have a dedicated influencer team, or they have an affiliate team, which most brands do, and it's usually two or three people joining those calls, because it does involve things that they oversee.
Yeah, no, definitely. It'll be interesting to see. I remember just when retail media became a thing, and it took a while for brands and agencies to kind of figure out where it sits, and it still differs. So it just it will be interesting to watch,
Yeah,
especially the overlap between the, like you said, the PR affiliate side of the house versus the social media buying side of the house. So it'll be interesting. And so, one last question: you talked a lot about AI. So tell us, like, what's your prediction? Like, what do you think it's going to? How do you think the industry is going to be embracing AI even more?
it. Yeah, I have predictions. I think it's unfolding every day.
Yeah.
Few things is what I believe to my core is that people appreciate authenticity and
Mm,
originality, and I don't think that will change. I think
yeah.
that sentiment has withstood the test of time. People don't pay a lot of money for replicas, even they look identical. It's all about the original. So I think
Yeah.
I don't think that will change. I think we'll come to appreciate original work a lot more.
Hmm.
So where I think it'll be interesting to see is how many people actually gravitate towards AI generated content or AI influencers. I think it will be a fad. I don't think it will be something that lives for the long run,
Yeah.
at least at this stage, for the
Hmm.
next 10 years, I would say. Where it's really exciting is making the lives of marketers and influencers easier. And I think
Right, right.
that, from content creation, we already know that is taking leaps and bounds. And I would expect by next year, you can create most of the content you're looking to produce through AI.
Mm-hmm.
And what will be interesting is like, what is the balance between original content and something that the influencer created
Yep.
versus AI? An example could be, um, an influencer or creator might create one piece of content or produce a video and then use AI to change backgrounds, to change a
Mm-hmm.
bunch of things at scale, which I think
Yep.
is okay.
Yep.
Um, and where it'll be interesting is if the entire video, like Coke just produced
Yeah.
and put out an entire video on that
Yeah.
was produced
Yep.
by AI, and I put out a poll, and it turned. I haven't shared the results of it, but I'll tell you now, most people are not here for it or have some
Right.
concerns.
Right.
They want
Yeah.
and appreciate that originality, that authenticity, especially from a legacy brand like Coke.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think it's really interesting. I think it's exciting because we'll become a lot more efficient. We'll see new types of
Mm-hmm.
content that we weren't able to do before, at least not without a big production studio. Um, but it's going to take away from that, from the artistry of it all, which
Yeah.
is,
Yep.
and marketing is very much an art and a science. And so I think it'll be really interesting. I think my prediction is authenticity holds true for what resonates with consumers, but we'll be able to produce a lot more content and a lot more impactful content with AI by our side.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think you're spot on that the authenticity and creativity will remain, but we'll just get more efficient with automation and AI based tools to make us more efficient. But I definitely agreed and hope that we don't go down a path of just AI generated
Me too.
content and robots hawking product. So
Yeah.
no, but this is helpful. Great. So thank you so much for all
Well,
of
thank
your
you.
insight and expertise today. Super valuable and helpful. And hope we can have you on again soon.
Thanks, Carrie. Can't wait for the next time for us to catch up.
Excellent. And sorry, before I let you go, can you tell everyone how they can find you and Creator Co?
Just creator.co. Visit our website. You can drop in, sign up as a brand or a creator. You can also find me on LinkedIn, Vinod Varma, attached to creator.co as the company. And yeah, excited to hear from anyone who's got questions.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Great. Well, thank you so much.
Thanks, Carrie. Appreciate it. Have a great day. Thanks, everyone, for listening.
I hope you enjoyed this episode of Revenue Boost, a marketing podcast. We have more valuable content coming up, so be sure to subscribe to Revenue Boost, a marketing podcast, so you don't miss out. To connect with me, Carrie Curran, to learn how you can boost your revenue and to listen to past episodes, visit revenuebasedmarketing.com.